final passage reads, "On that fated land, a great war shall transpire. Darkness will prevail, and light expire." This world is full of light. It's a world comprised of many smaller worlds, all connected, stretching as far as the eye can see. One great light protects us all. All worlds share one light, one fate. I take it you're talking about Kingdom Hearts. Yep.
In ancient times, people believed that light was a gift from an unseen land. By the name of Kingdom Hearts. But Kingdom Hearts was safeguarded by its counterpart, the Keyblade. Warriors vied for that precious light, thus beginning the Keyblade War. All of this was decided.
You really think you can change the future?
All of this was decided.
The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear. Sounds like your trip around the world opened your eyes, but you got a little bit more than you anticipated. You must have seen a lot of darkness. So you're saying the weak feel the need to justify their actions to maintain a sense of self. You can't let that slide. You can't let that slide. I suppose letting false light dictate the future might be a pretty lousy move. So, you can make a change. You have that power. What do you want for the world? You believe the world needs you. Sounds like you already know where you're headed. If you truly possess great power, the darkness can't control you.
All of this was decided.
You really think you can change the future?
All of this was decided.
The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear.
All of this was decided.
Why not just sit back and watch it play out?
All of this was decided.
May your heart be your guiding key. Who are you really? Some kind of fortune teller? Well, I could lie, tell you that's what I am, when I'm actually a brilliant artist, even a scholar. I could tell you that I dream of world peace, when I'm actually planning for its destruction. The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear.
All of this was decided.
You really think you can change the future?
All of this was decided.
The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear.
All of this was decided.
Why not just sit back and watch it play out?
All of this was decided.
May your heart be your guiding key. May your heart be your guiding key.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Audience theory number 2 is upon us. The first audience theory we did was quite a while ago, I think about 6 months ago. And it was really just an idea I had on a whim. And it turned out to be a really enjoyable episode of The Lodge. So we decided to do it again. This time seems to be a little bit different. Last time I had a lot of people who called in or phoned in. I got a lot of written theories this time. So I'm going to be reading them out. I'll have them pulled up on screen, just in case people want to follow along or read at their own pace. But anyway, before I continue yapping, let's give a lot of love and a shout out to the sages of The Lodge. This ever-expanding list has gotten so long, I'm going to break it up into 2 columns. It's all we have left. But anyway, a lot of love to them. We had a number of new ones today, like Matt Hayes, Jason Daniel. I've also went ahead and added the likes of JT Grump, Treehouse, PB and Jilly, and Andy Brew to the Sages list. probably going to add some more. I'm going to look at anyone who's been subscribed for over 2 years on Twitch and go ahead and add them in good faith. But anyway, without further ado, let's scooch you guys down just a little bit. We're doing some theories today. Theories will be fun. I hope anyone who's in the chat, we should reach a point where if any of you have theories you want to share, please feel free to do so. Definitely could use more Final Fantasy theories. Last episode, we had an even split of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. I had much more Kingdom Hearts come in this time, but that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, perhaps we ought to get started. Where to begin? All right, let's pull this up. I think I have this pulled up properly. Okay, I want to talk about this one. This user, this audience member, I should say, by the name of Zane, and I believe they have a video I'm going to share too, that Yozora is a heartless of both Sora and Riku, who was created during Dream Drop Distance when Sora fell to darkness while Riku was inside his heart. I'm going to say that again, because that's a lot to take in. Yozora is a heartless of both Sora and Riku, who was created during Dream Drop Distance when Sora fell to darkness while Riku was inside his heart. So, here's the thing. That notion, maybe at first glance, might be a little wild, might be a little crazy. But when you consider that a lot of the concepts that came to the forefront in Kingdom Hearts 3 that are connected to Versus 13, those ripples really started coming through in Dream Drop Distance. So the idea that we're going to look back on Dream Drop Distance as having some connection to Quadratum is not the craziest notion. So even though I do believe this theory is a little bit out there, I definitely think it's plausible and definitely think it's possible. So anyway, let's cut back and read this out a little bit. 1. Yozora's connections within Sora. First, the name. In Japanese, Sora means sky, Yozora, night sky. You don't choose a name like that unless you're trying to connect the two, which is something we've talked about a lot. Like, this was always Nomura's plan, even when Yozora was Noctis for Versus 13. That name means night sky as well. This was always the plan. But let's keep this going. Second is Yozora's Keyblade copy that he makes when they fight. It's not an exact replica of any Keyblade we've seen before, but it looks the most like the Ultima Keyblade. The difference is that there is a crown on Yozora's, whereas there is a heart on Sora's. The crown is a symbol often associated with Sora. I don't know why I'm wearing these. I don't need to be wearing these. Third is the skull and crossbones on Yozora's sleeve. The skull has spiky hair like Sora, and it's wearing a crown. Again, a crown is a symbol associated with Sora. The crossbones aren't actually bones. They're 2 kingdom keys. Sora, of course, wields the kingdom key. Fourth is the line, I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real or not? This is the first thing we hear Sora ever say in Kingdom Hearts 1. Regardless of the ending you receive after the fight with Yozora, Yozora can be heard saying the same line overlaid with Sora, saying it, which further connects the two. So again, they're not saying anything inconsistent there. I think everything they laid out is true. Whether or not it connects to their conclusion remains to be seen, but everything they've said so far, good by me. By the way, shout out to Jiskai over on Twitch, our most recent follower. Oh man, we're at 10 minutes already? All right. Let's keep this going, shall we? Yozora has the power of waking. Here we go. In Kingdom Hearts 3, young Xehanort describes the power of waking as being the ability to traverse hearts to reach worlds. This is consistent with the way we first see it used in Dream Drop Distance, when Riku uses it to wake Sora. If you recall, Riku dives down into Sora's Station of Awakening, and after defeating Ventus' suit of armor, he is transported to Destiny Islands, in Remind. Oh, and he's transported to Destiny Islands. In Remind, before Sora and Yozora fight, the exact same thing happens. Ooh, hold on. Riku dives down into Sora's Station of Awakening, and after defeating Ventus's suit of armor, he's transported to Destiny Islands. In Remind, before Sora and Yozora fight, the exact same thing happens. After Yozora points his crossbow at Sora, Sora's Station of Awakening appears from underneath them, and the quadratum, a world, appears around them. This is the power of waking, and Yozora has it. Let's, I'm going to read that out as it's happening. One second. Yozora points his crossbow at Sora. Then Sora's Station of Awakening appears from underneath them. And then Quadratum, a world, appears around them. In the same way, Riku dives down into Sora's Station Awakening. And after defeating Ventus's suit of armor, he's transported to Destiny Islands. Okay, so those two parts are consistent. Station Awakening, and then a world forms around. Where there isn't a similarity or consistency is you have Yozora pointing the crossbow, which ignites all of this to happen. There doesn't appear to be that same sort of trigger effect in Dream Drop Distance. Yeah, okay. Because in Dream Drop Distance, it's like the Station of Awakening appears, they fight on it, and then Destiny Islands appears. Here, the Station of Awakening appears, then the world appears, then they fight. So there, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Yo, take care, Games for You. Thanks for hanging out all day, man. Really appreciate it. Zane, you're here. This is you, dude. Unless there's two Zanes? Are there two Zanes? Because this comes from a Zane. Anyway. Let's keep going. Let's keep this going. Okay. For now, what's important about Yozora using the power of waking is that we know where they are now, since the power of waking takes you into the target's dream. They're now in Sora's dream. This provides additional context for what Yozora says next. I accidentally wandered into this place and went through some trials. Then I was told to save Sora. This is Riku's exact plot in Dream Drop Distance. To explain, first, Riku accidentally wandered into Traverse Town, but more importantly, he also accidentally wandered into Sora's dream, where Yozora currently is. Second, Riku goes through the Mark of Mastery when Yensid explicitly compares to a trial, more trial than test. Third, Yensid tells Riku to wake Sora, which is similar to save Sora. Yozora spoke his line in the first person, meaning he believes that this happened to him. This must mean that Yozora has Riku's memory and believes it to be his own. The other and most obvious connection is that he looks like Riku. Skazfish, what's going on? Four, Yozora's body is not his own. He's been changed beyond all recognition, his heart replaced with another. We learn from Sora that this statement by the Nameless Star is about Yozora, since the statement is spoken in the present tense and because Yozora is presently in control of the body. This must mean that Yozora is the another that replaced the heart of the Nameless Star's friend. Whoa. Let me digest that a little bit. Hold on. I got to digest that a little bit. Yeah, you know, this is... You know, I feel like we always assume that that's Yozora in the wrong body. But what if that's Yozora's body with the wrong heart? Because he never really says, I'm Yozora, right? He says, how are you recognizing me as Yozora? But if it's Yozora's body, he wouldn't have that question, right? So if that's Yozora's body with the heart that replaced it, I feel like he wouldn't be like, how are you recognizing me as Yozora? Sonny Novus, what's up, dude? But But I'm willing to suspend some disbelief to keep this going. From this, we can establish that Yozora must be either a heart or a heartless, as these are the beings that can take over another's body. We learned this when, as a heart, Xehanort was able to take over Terra's body, and as a heartless, Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, was able to take over Riku's body. Yozora's original body looks like Sora. Okay, this is actually something I've been thinking about for a while. This is where I'm kind of all in. This is where they get me. Since he's either a heart or heartless, what he really looks like is the original body he comes from. So what does his original body look like? You're Yozora, Rex and Ham to Sora. Rex and Ham recognize Sora as Yozora, which is strange because we can see he doesn't look like Sora. Sora, Donald, and Goofy all think he looks more like Riku. What we also know is that Rex and Ham have played Verum Rex, a video game presumably about Yozora, considering his starring role in the Verum Rex trailer and box art. This means that while playing Verum Rex, they would have seen Yozora's original body before he is removed from it and replaces the heart of the Nameless Star's friend. And if they think that Sora looks like Yozora, then Yozora's original body must at least look like Sora, if not be Sora himself, for this to make sense. Okay. That kind of makes sense to me. Because here's the funny thing, guys. Here's the funny thing, and I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it very low, but let's watch the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, and you might notice something, that they never say Sora's name. They never say Sora's name. How do we know this is him? Let's extend our belief that this theory is true. What if that's actually Yozora? What if the Sora we're seeing here isn't actually him? Now, don't get me wrong, I think it is actually Sora, but I think it's pretty suspicious they never say his name. Isn't that a little suspicious? But he has the Kingdom Key in the KH4 trailer. Yes, and that could be a point in the direction of him actually being himself. But maybe that has something to do with Verum Rex meaning true king. Maybe he's just as worthy to wield that blade as Sora. Because imagine a world where Sora and Yozora are fighting for the right to exist. Because only one can be real at a time. Which, the meta of Tetsuya Nomura's creative pursuits is actually compatible with that. Because he was making Versus 13 and said, I won't make Kingdom Hearts 3 until Versus 13 is done. Versus 13 never got finished, and Square pushed him into making Kingdom Hearts 3. So it kind of creates this idea like he can't have his cake and eat it too. Like both can't exist at once. Anyway, we're going to get back into the theory. The creation of Yozora. There are really only two ways that we know for a being to come from two people and also be able to take over another's body. We know from Roxas and Roxas, a nobody created from Sora and Ventus, and Xemnas, a nobody created from Xehanort and Terra. Ooh, I like how they're pointing out that these kind of fusions, Sora is a short king. I can confirm that from Sunny Novus. Nobodies can't take over another's body. So if Yozora was a nobody, he'd have to grow a new heart and then have that heart transferred. We know from Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, that the other way that a being can come from two people is to create a heartless when there are two people sharing a body. So is there a point in the Kingdom Hearts series where Sora and Riku share a body that creates either a nobody or a heartless? To create a nobody, there has to be an unoccupied body. But since both Sora and Riku are currently inhabiting theirs, Yozora can't be a nobody that gained a heart. To create a heartless, a heart must fall to darkness and be separated from the body. Is there a point where this could have happened? I believe yes, there is. Okay. Yeah, this is a good theory to start off on, I gotta say. Here we go. In Dream Drop Distance, Sora fell to darkness. While this was happening, Riku was inside his dream. Okay. And from what Yen Sid says, that being in his dream also means he was inside Sora's heart. What's important to note is that Sora only partially fell. He was saved from fully being engulfed by Ventus's suit of armor. According to Yen Sid, this resulted in the loss of all Sora's power, and most importantly, the loss of the power of waking. I think it's plausible that the part of Sora that fell to darkness got separated and turned into a Heartless, taking his power, and the power of waking with him. This would explain how Yozora has the power of waking, despite not being a Keyblade wielder. We know from Kingdom Hearts 1, when Ansem took over Riku, that a Heartless can change the appearance of its host body. This would explain why Yozora looks like Riku. I will say, one thing I do like about this theory, I'm not completely sold on it, obviously. There are parts of it I'm kind of all in on. But what I like is they're backing their ideas up with previous examples of things like that happening in the series. And I really like that. Yo, everyone. Hey, Lodge. The stream will be over by the time I'm off work, so I just want to drop by. Happy 5 years. I'm happy to be a sicko for another 5, you know. Rocks13 Prod, an honorary Sage of the Lodge. Dude, thank you for the kind words. Thanks for dropping in here, too. Yeah, dude. We'll be rolling for a bit, but you enjoy work. I appreciate you making time to drop in here and say hello. Very logical and intriguing. That's what I'm saying, is there's an obvious thought and trace of logic to pretty much everything they're saying. The mystery darkling. Okay, now we're talking. Now we are talking. Here we go. On the Kingdom Hearts 3 box art, there's a Heartless sitting in front of Sora with his legs hanging off the edge of the roof of the building holding a star. This Heartless is called a Darkling. They were first introduced in Kingdom Hearts Key and made their only appearance in Union Cross. According to Nightmare Chirithy, they are Keyblade wielders whose hearts succumb to darkness. Sora and Riku, of course, are Keyblade wielders, so it would make sense a Heartless spawned from him would create a Darkling. This is something. But what's curious is that despite being prominently featured on the cover, there are no Darklings anywhere in the entirety of Kingdom Hearts 3, because the covers are about the next game. Anyway, if we look at Yozora in the secret ending, he's also sitting at the edge of the building looking down, just like the Darkling. If we look at Yozora in the secret ending, in the Verum Rex trailer, Yozora is reaching for a girl wearing a necklace with a star on it, and the Darkling on the Kingdom Hearts 3 cover is holding a star. If I remember correctly, it was confirmed that the Verum girl, the nameless star, being Stella, and it would seem obvious the star is supposed to represent her. I'll take your theory one step further, my friend. She's based on Stella from Versus 13, and Stella means star. Who wrote this? Zane. Let me, 1 second. I think they may have a video to back this up too. Give me a second. Yes, they do. They do. They do. The Kingdom's Pulse. Okay, I will share this link once we get to the end, because this is cool. Same name as me, but not mine. Yeah, I thought it was you. Okay. Let's see, where am I? The Darkling being Yozora would be a good explanation as to why this Darkling is both on the cover at all and is so prominently featured. Nomura is very specific when it comes to what's on the cover of his games. Yeah, especially, again, I'll take his theory one step further. The covers are all about the next game. how Yozora came from Sora to Quadratum. Sora felt the darkness in a unique way. He felt the darkness by being lured further and further into sleep. It's through this that we can establish a plausible way for how Yozora ended up in Quadratum and therefore have the opportunity to inhabit the body of the Nameless Star's friend. We know from Charity that sleep and death are close to each other and that the final world is the last stop before death. We know that the final world is connected to both reality and unreality, because Sora, who's from reality, can access it, and the Nameless Star, who's from unreality, is also there. Finally, we know that Quadratum is in unreality because that's where the Nameless Star is from. Okay, there is a clear path for Yozora to end up where we find him, from Sora's sleep to the final world to unreality to Quadratum. To add further evidence, there's what young Xehanort says to Sora in Kingdom Hearts 3. He says that the place Sora will go for abusing the power of waking is the same place he should have gone when he felt the darkness in Dream Drop Distance. Wait, what? Wait. Okay, I gotta pull up the toy box scene. Because if that's true, that's kind of big. He says that the place Sora will go for abusing the power of waking is the same place he should have gone when he felt the darkness in Dream Drop Distance? Did he say that? He would have said it in Toy Box. Okay, I'm going to look this up. My video keeps lagging. Rest in peace. How's everybody else doing? Are you guys lagging, or is that limited to Vitrin? Oh, no, we're going to do this. You guys hang with me for a minute. I'm pulling this up. We're going to see this through. Oh, by the way, I do want to say, if just like last time, no lag, okay, good. If just like last time, I don't get to everybody's theory, we will discuss the theory on the next audience theory. It will carry over. Okay. This is going to be nuts. The Kingdom's Pulse is here. Then this is a good time for a shout out. Okay, guys. So the theory we're going over right now is from this channel, Kingdom Pulse. I'm going to post his link in both YouTube and Twitch. Make sure you give him a follow. Okay. Let's switch this up. Let's find him. Okay. It would probably be, let me get my headphones. The Lich. It's the Lich conversation. Okay. All right, let me switch back. See, this is why I'm glad you're here. We're going to look this up in real time, baby. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay. This is why it's good. Check out. We got to shrink this down. Look at what the first thing he says in the whole series is. Well, actually, this is just Dream Drop Distance. But his first thing. Okay, but anyway. The Lich conversation, which should be right here. Okay, let's do this.
All that gallivanting through the sleeping worlds, and yet you learned nothing.
What?
Dream by dream. You nearly buried yourself in the dark of sleep, and now you're at it again. The Lich you've been fighting, it's not like other Heartless. It exists to usher hearts down to the depths of darkness. If you chase it, you will condemn your heart to that same abyss.
You're wrong.
Okay, hold on. Back that up again.
I dream. You nearly buried yourself in the dark of sleep, and now you're at it again. The Lich you've been fighting, It's not like other Heartless. It exists to usher hearts down to the depths of darkness. If you chase it, you will condemn your heart to that same abyss.
I wonder. And it makes sense. Oh, you know, because it's not 100% certain, but the implication could be there. Yeah. Okay, that computes. That computes. Let's go back to the theory. Okay. To add further evidence, that's what young Xehanort says to Sora in Kingdom Hearts 3. So, okay, that's what we just went over. From Rima, and like, let's be fair. Also, bear in mind, he said that to him in San Francisco, which has the same kind of city landscape that Quadratum has. Anyway, from reminding Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, that place seems to be Unreality, and more specifically Quadratum. In other words, Sora would have ended up in Quadratum had he fully fallen to darkness in Dream Drop Distance. This means that if Yozora was created in Dream Drop Distance, Quadratum is where he would have ended up. Okay. I follow. Conclusion. Yozora being a Heartless created from both Sora and Riku basically explains everything. It explains Yozora's connections with Riku, his connections with Sora, the Darkling on the cover, why he has the power of waking, and why Rex and Ham recognize Sora as Yozora, and it could also explain Yozora's name. Again, we know all that Sky stuff, but he does have a point. He does have a very good point that if we give the benefit of the doubt that this is true, it does answer pretty much all of the lingering questions about this situation. I think you've already talked about this before, but I've been thinking about how Yozora and the Master of Masters may be connected. A lot of people have theories about the Master's true appearance, and they think that since his face has been obscured for so long, he has to be a familiar character for the inevitable reveal to be more impactful. If he's someone totally new, it won't really garner a big reaction from fans like the Lushu reveal did. I think it's very possible that the Master swapped bodies with Yozora. Yeah, we talked about this on oh man, I think it's like episode 135 or something. But this is crazy. So that way, the audience can still have a big surprise when they realize we've been staring at the Master of Masters' true face for years. We just didn't know it. It would explain, and also the height difference. Yozora is so tall, he's just about as tall as the Master would be. Where are we? It would explain the one blue eye that Yozora has. And the red eye could serve as a replacement for No Name. And also how Yozora is able to casually steal Sora's Keyblade. It reminds me when the Master briefly stole young Xehanort's Keyblade and gave it back to him in Dark Road. I think this way, the Master could destroy the darkness that was trapped within his body by getting rid of Yozora, and then survive afterwards to continue on with his plan. I hope I didn't retread too much familiar territory that you've covered before. I've had this on my mind a while, and I think it's pretty interesting. Thanks again for reaching out. Hope you're doing well. Otherwise, dude, this was awesome. That's a good theory you got there. Again, I dropped your link in the channel. Let me drop the video itself. And there you go. Okay. That's our first theory of the day. Already off to a crazy start. Hillary Slack says it doesn't explain why Quadratum seems to have existed since Missing Link, if not before. Why Terranort seemed to know about Unreality and seemed to think Kyrie could go there. True. We still have those lingering mysteries. The final part was what I sent you. Wait, really? Wait, really? Oh, did I get them combined? Let's go back. Zane, where do you start? Do you start here or do you start here? Because they go together. Your guys' theories go seamlessly together. That's intense. The first paragraph right here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I guess I accidentally combined them. But dude, your guys' theories go together. That's insane. If anything, it kind of convinces me further. And you're both... Anyway. You guys are nuts. You guys are sickos, man. You guys are sickos. All right. Let's move on. Phil Games, you with us, bro? You're up, baby. You're up. Yeah, everybody go subscribe to the Kingdom's Pulse. If you thought that was a cool theory, I'm sure they got plenty more. Okay. Oh boy. Almost knocked over my water there. This next one comes to us from Phil Games. So let's run this. Okay. Starts from here. You know what? Let's make this neat. This way it fills up the whole page. Anyway, my theory has to do with the ever-popular discussion that is Subject X. I personally believe that Subject X is Skuld, as a lot of the evidence pointing to her seems to be more concrete than most of the evidence pointing to Ava in my eyes. However, as many people have pointed out, the biggest hole with it being Skuld is that she seems to have at least one descendant who existed in the past, meaning that if she is indeed Subject X, that she must be sent back into the past at some point. I love where this is going. Many people then jump to the conclusion that Lushu sent her back into the past when he took her away, as mentioned in the KH3 Secret Report 1. True, that's me. I'm one of those guys. However, I do not think that this is the case because of the often overlooked line that comes right after she mentions this. Even now, years on, I feel no closer to understanding who or what I am. This is not just some arbitrary recollection from this mysterious girl. This is something that is actually being written down at a specific point in time, several years after it actually happened. And the fact that she still has no idea who she is leads me to believe that she doesn't know that she's from the past, which then leads me to believe that she has not been sent back to that past. So that means Subject X can't be Skuld, right? Wrong! We have to remember that because of how time travel works, she could have still been sent back to the past at any time in the future. Because of this, I think that she does still exist in the present day of the current games, and that her arc in the future games could even be that Axel and Isa find her wherever Lushu hid her, help her recover her memories, and then finally send her back to her true home in the past. Ooh. Ooh. I imagine this arc ending with a beautiful scene of her finally reuniting with Ephemer. Oh. I think this theory makes this one hole in the Skuld is Subject X theory a lot smaller. Good way of putting that. One potential problem with this is that in order to travel to the past, you supposedly need a version of yourself to already exist at that point. Not entirely. But this could easily be solved if a copy of her data still exists and Daybreak Town is destroyed. Exactly, they get it. That's a good take on Subject X I have not heard before. Ooh, what is this? What are you doing? There you go. That is a good take on Subject X I have not heard before. Oh man, we've already been going for 40 minutes? We've only done 2 theories. Okay. Next theory, let's see. And again, if I don't get to everybody, if you sent me something and I don't get up to you, don't worry, we will on the next one. Phil, that was great. Let's get you a shout out, Phil. Let's get you a shout out. Everybody go check out Phil Games. If you thought that was an interesting theory, here's his channel. Phil, thank you for sending that in. I do appreciate it. Okay. Let's keep this going. Alrighty. Is this all from Hold on, I gotta make sure this is from who I think it's from. So give me a second. Give me a second. Oh, that's right. There's this one. Oh, this is intense. This is intense. This comes to us from Rain13. They're in the chat quite a lot, so maybe they might show up just in time. Let's do this. Okay. Maybe I'll make this a little bigger, make it easier for you guys to read. Okay. This next one comes to us from Rain13. Shout out to them. They've been hanging in the pot. Hi there, I'm Rain, for those who don't know. MA, you and Rain13 are the same? Are you serious? Really? Or am I tripping? Are you trying to trip me out? Are you trying to trip me out? Oh, you're serious. Okay. Well then. Let's do this. May have to take a water break soon. Sid is here? Sid Lexia is here. Are you for real? Are you for real? Oh my god. She's not only here, she's dished out 5 community subs over on Twitch. Are you kidding me? Please get a chat. Please get a shout out for Sid. We already did. Attaboy, Umbra. Everyone on YouTube, please follow my friend, Sid Lexia. She's not only awesome, she's hilarious, good vibes, good friend, and her streams are great. When she goes live, you don't want to miss it. She just dished out 5 community subs on Twitch, which is bonkers. Happy 5 years, Landerson? Absolutely. Oh, and she knows my government name without turning on me or doxing me, which is great. But Sid, thank you for the gifted subs. I hope Mushroom is doing well. Rox13 Prod says, all right, I gotta go. Again, congrats on 5 years, sickos. Say hi to Kobe for me. Kobe will make an appearance. We'll let Kobe make an appearance. Yeah, Sid is wildin'. She ain't sitting around. Anyway, okay. Let's get to Rain13's theory here. Brought to you by Sid Lexia. Sponsored by Sid Lexia. Yozora didn't believe Sora wasn't Sora's government name. Exactly. Was. Exactly. All right. Let's get to this theory coming to us from Rain13 MA. Again, one of the biggest supporters of the Lodge. Was there all the way back to the World Ends With You playthrough days. Always hanging out. Always bringing good vibes. I'm glad we get to read a theory of hers. Let's do it. These are some of my main points on my theory that when someone dies in Kingdom Hearts reality, they go to Unreality. And when someone sleeps in Unreality, they go to Kingdom Hearts' reality. When Charity said the edges of sleep and death touch, and one can't help the occasional crossover, they didn't mean sleep and death from Kingdom Hearts reality. They meant sleep representing Kingdom Hearts reality, and death representing Unreality. Ooh. I like this. And the occasional crossover they mention is the crossover from one reality to the other, like Sora did. Meaning the final world is the crossover point between Kingdom Hearts reality and Unreality. Rain, you're killing it. You are killing it. When you sleep in Unreality, the characters are transplanted to Kingdom Hearts' reality. And when someone dies in Kingdom Hearts reality, they are sent to Unreality. Okay, which could explain how Strelitzia, or just her body as I theorize, Xehanort's classmates and or brain are in Unreality. This is why, while Sora was dead, he could see Yozora, and while Yozora was asleep, he could see Sora, and they met at the final world, the crossover point. Sora, when he arrived at Quadratum, he was, as stated by Strelitzia, asleep for 7 days. And if he's asleep in Unreality, that means he can travel to Kingdom Hearts reality. So in that time, Sora appearing to save Kairi and Melody of Memory happened. I like this But you got 6 days to fill up. There's 6 days to fill up on those 7 days of sleep. But so far I'm in. Now, the thing I think everyone wondered when we saw the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer is why is no one looking at Sora while he summons his Keyblade and whatnot? Well, if you go to the other reality, then maybe the inhabitants of the other reality can't see you because you are in a kind of UG-like place. Underground. This is getting very World Ends with You-ish. Oh my god. But it's kind of making sense though. Meanwhile, the others are in the RG-like vibe, which would explain why no one noticed him. And if Quadratum is indeed the Shibuya the Kingdom Hearts versions of The World Ends With You cast are from, then there should be an RG, a UG, heck, maybe even a Reaper's game. Okay, so for people who are tuning in who may not be totally caught up on World Ends With You, there's an RG and a UG. Now, the RG is reality as we know it. Imagine yourself at the center of Shibuya. There's crowds walking around, cars, people bumping into you. That's the RG. It's the real ground. It's real life. Now, when you die, you go into the UG, the underground. You're in the physical space of Shibuya, but nobody in the RG can see you. But you can see people in the RG. The only people who could see you are the ones who are in that underground sort of plane, this sort of purgatory between the realms of life and death. And then you play the Reaper's game to see if you go back to life. So what Rain is kind of saying here is that Sora may be in Quadratum, yes, but he may be in Quadratum in an underground sense, where the people in the base reality aren't able to see him, and only people in that underground reality, like Strelitzia, are able to see him. Now, we don't have a lot to back this up. We just simply have the trailer, right? What they're kind of picking up is, if we look at the trailer, nobody looks at Sora like he's even there. You know? Nobody seems to observe him. And nobody else seemed to really care that he was like asleep for 7 days. You know, only Strelitzia. This is big brain shit. Let me tell you something, Sid. The Landi Lodge's audience is like the 1% of Kingdom Hearts fans. We're working our way to the 1% of Final Fantasy fans. We're getting there. We're definitely getting there. We got some serious Final Fantasy sickos in here, like Shadow Flare. I know Shadow Flare is a big Final Fantasy sicko. But let me tell you, the big monster is distracting. Exactly, we can dismiss this. We can dismiss nobody really looking at Sora. But we do know that Strelitzia, the Master of Masters, and whoever this is, are very obviously observing him. I didn't realize I had the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer on. Oops. Or rather, the sound. Okay. Thank you, Will. I appreciate it. You've been here. You've been with the Lodge a long time, Will. Indeed, I am. Kingdom Hearts does a good job making FF metaphysics easier to understand / explain. Yeah, that's what's funny. People who think Kingdom Hearts is complicated don't realize Final Fantasy usually is more complicated. Believe it or not. Anyway, let's get back into it. With Shadow Flare, if you have some Final Fantasy theories for us, please share. I want to bring a little Final Fantasy balance to these audience theories. I got a lot of Kingdom Hearts ones. Anyway, where were we? Now, if the people from Kingdom Hearts reality that go to Unreality are in the UG-like state, then they would pay an entry fee, which would change based on how you got to Unreality. In Sora's case, since he abuses the power of waking, it would be it? I'm confused. But for the other wielders, be it Strelitzia, Brain, etc., their fees would be their Keyblade. Hence why Strelitzia didn't help Sora in the KH4 trailer. I like that. That maybe they got into they got their price for the Reaper's game was their it is the power of waking. Got it. Gotcha. Now I follow. Based on the Normies' reactions, being the first wheeler that comes to Unreality with his Keyblade. Right, because that would explain why the darkness showed up for Sora, but not Strelitzia. Now, you could be saying, oh, but M.A., the Master of Masters, he clearly has a Keyblade. No name. Not anymore. Excuse me. Technically, you see now it's Lushu's Keyblade. previously being Xehanort's Keyblade. And don't tell me he could summon it back, because when Lucio bequeathed No Name to Brain, he says in the report, now Keybladeless. So he clearly can't summon No Name back. Same with Brain and the Master's Defender once given to Ephemer. And being realities away, like you say, does change things. Okay, let's bring it home. Laurium in a dream in Union Cross. Wait, did I miss a part? Did I miss a part? Oh, here we go. Yeah. A lot of things can be explained with this theory. As I already mentioned, it can explain how no one saw Sora in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, how Sora came to save Kairi and Melody a memory, how Sora and Yozora met, etc. Another very important thing that could be explained is how the nameless star is in the final world. If her heart just got stripped from her body, they got their bodies stolen and their hearts went to sleep. But because they didn't have bodies, they ended up in the final world. And in the case of Strelitzia, this could explain how she appeared to Laurium in Union Cross. Wow! Since she was asleep and her heart connected to his via sleep. Kind of like Sora and Kairi. Well, I think that might have been more of the astral plane, but that's another... I got a theory about that. This ain't Landi theories, this is audience theories. I'm gonna shut up. This could also explain how the World Ends With You gang got to Kingdom Hearts reality, when in their world something happened that brought their existence to an end. And Joshua says in Dream Drop Distance, that would more than likely be in Quadratum, seeing as there is a sign in the Verum Rex trailer that read Shibuya Central Street. Their hearts went to sleep and traveled to reality, connecting with Sora and Riku. Because at the end of the day, the edges of the realm of sleep and the realm of death do touch. And it was Sora's dream. Interesting. This logic can't really apply to Kingdom Hearts reality, since in their case, in order to really die, their hearts and bodies must perish together. So there's no way for them to not have a body. But in their case, they would get to the final world by still clinging to something from their past lives. Sora, his desire to see his friends again, same with Xehanort's upper classmates, and whoever else is there. This is all I wanted to say. Now we can discuss freely. I love that theory. That was very well thought out and gives me a lot to think about. Max Hall is here, my man. He made it. He made it. There's more. Check the new version. There's a new version? You have a new version? Did you email it to me? Did you put it in the Discord? Where's the new version? Where is this new version? Let me see. Did you send it on Discord? Oh, Max, I just got your message. We're going to do it. We're going to do it, Max. We're 100% going to do it. Do you have a time constraint? Let me know if you have a time constraint. I'm 100% down to do it. And Shadow Flare, I see your Final Fantasy theory coming in. We'll cover that next. But ¿dónde está? I leave at 4:30 Central for work. That would be 5:30 my time. We're good. We're good. Honestly, we'll cut to you. I want to see. There's more. Check the new version in the last email. Okay. Here you are. Oh, here we go. Beautiful. Okay. Let's open this up. Beautiful. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I like it. Okay, I got to shrink this down a little bit. One sec. Shrink it down. Last minute update. With the reveal of the astral plane, I think this theory could get some new points in favor. In the Missing Link trailer, we see that some version of old Scala exists in the astral plane, and it makes you wonder, are there any other worlds or realms in the astral plane? I'm not so sure about worlds, but since the astral plane connects reality and unreality, the realms most connected to unreality, realm of sleep and realm of death, both exist in the astral plane, so that would allow a crossover with those methods. Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about. Getting my tires changed and vibing here. That's what I'm saying, Lens. We're here. Like I always say, guys, the Landi Lodge is just here to make your day easier. That's what we're here to do. No, but I like it. Should I speed up my typing or do a video thing? You know what? We don't have many people videoing in. Let's video you in, dude. Let's video you in. But that is awesome. That is awesome. We'll pull missing link up over here. That is great. All right. I'm going to take a quick break. I need to go to the bathroom, refill my waters. And then when we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about Rain's theory. And then Max, we're going to cut to you. We're going to cut to you. Max Hall has a surprise for everybody. I'm very excited about it. It's a surprise to me, honestly. So, a lot of cool things coming up. A lot of cool things coming up, guys. I'm really excited. Anyway, I need to run to the bathroom, get myself a drink, some more water. And we got some more theories. Again, I'm not sure we get through all of them, but we got some more theories. Anyway, let's, where is it? Right here. All right, I'll be right back, guys.
You have that power. What do you want for the world? You believe the world needs you. Sounds like you already know where you're headed. If you truly possess great power, the darkness can't control you.
All of this was decided.
You really think you can change the future?
All of this was decided.
The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear.
All of this was decided.
Why not just sit back and watch it play out?
All of this was decided.
May your heart be your guiding key. Who are you really? Some kind of fortune teller? Well, I could lie, tell you that's what I am, when I'm actually a brilliant artist, even a scholar. I could tell you that I dream of world peace, when I'm actually planning for its destruction. The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear.
All of this was decided.
You really think you can change the future?
All of this was decided.
The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear.
All of this was decided.
Why not just sit back and watch it play out?
All of this was decided.
May your heart be your guiding key. May your heart be your guiding key.
I just can't wait. Once we set sail, it'll be great. Don't ever forget, wherever you go, I'm always with you.
Wrong one. Okay, we are back. Max Hall, where you at, my man? I want to get him in here. Got a nice surprise for you guys, especially if this goes well. Max, if you're with us, man, now's your time. Which, by the way, Rain, what a theory. I think the strongest part of your theory was like connecting death and reality and sleep and unreality. Making that observation was very cool and interesting. Like that's the part of your theory that's going to have me thinking for a while. And I do think the astral plane adds credence to your theory. Discord call audio me. Do you want to just be phoned in, or we can video you in? If you want to be videoed in, up to you, Max. Your call. I'll audio you in right now, or we could do a call. Up to you. Just let me know. If we do an audio call, I'll come up with a good backdrop. Don't want people looking at me while you do your thing. But I'm excited. This is cool. I don't think we've ever had what's about to happen ever in the Landi Lodge before. So by the time Kingdom Hearts ends, I bet there will be 13 Sora variants. Can you imagine? Oh, wow. We doing calls now? Yeah, I mean, that's what we did last audience theory. Excuse me. Here, let me add, well, I don't know which one I'm going to do yet. Here, oh, there he is. I think he's just doing, hey, what's going on, dude? You there? I'm going to add you into the stream right now. Yo, Max, you with us? Still waiting for him to come in, but let's see. What might be the best way to do this? Yo, Max, you there, dude? If you're speaking, I currently cannot hear you.
Oh, give me just 1 second. You might be muted.
I hear you now.
You hear me now?
I hear you now. You want to do this just audio, or do you want video too?
Just audio. My phone's shit.
Just hey, that's fine with me. Give me 1 second. I want to set you up with a nice backdrop.
Did it apart,
Right,
nice and neat.
Real quick, tell me how does
We should be.
gonna play a chord?
All right, yeah. We're doing a little sound check, everybody. So just bear with us. Go for it. I'll let you know how it sounds. Could we get it a little louder? Very, very close, I think. If there's a way to get it even a little bit louder, I think that would come in nice. I think we can make that work. I could do something on my end to make it a little louder too. So just give me a minute. I'll get you all set up. You got this, dude. All right.
So they're not finished yet, but
Don't sweat it.
I'll give you what I can.
Don't sweat it. I got you on full tilt. I got you on full blast. Let me do one last thing, actually.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's an
both
audio
of these
filter I can
themes-
provide that makes you a little bit louder.
Gotcha. See, both of these themes fit in perfectly to two of who are going to be some of the most important players in the upcoming series. So
I'm excited. Okay. There we go. Some gain. Okay. Everybody,
all right,
Max, hold.
last quick sound check.
Go for it. Yep, you're coming in. He's gonna be playing.
Perfect.
He's gonna be playing some music for us. Let me know if you need him louder. It's okay to me too loud. Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah, I don't have you on the 1 second. I have to do a sound check now. No, I've got it on monitor and output. Why can't I hear it? Way too loud. Okay. Damn, I don't know why I can't hear it back. 1 second. 1 second. We're almost there. Let me see this.
I was gonna say, I'm no audio engineer, so
Let's turn this down then. Okay. Can you play the piano again? And guys, let me know how this sounds. Let me know if this is a good volume. Go for it. Keep going.
okay.
Now it's good. I'm hearing now it's good.
Alrighty.
All right. The floor is yours, my friend.
All right, let's do this. Oof, see? I told you I was just practicing.
Can't hear the music as it cuts out on my end. Huh. Yo, Max, you there?
I am, yes.
It seems to be. Yeah. They think Discord is cutting out the music.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't seem to be coming through, which is weird.
Maybe I should turn it down a little bit.
Maybe Discord might think it's technically background noise. Ooh, maybe there's something on my filter that could eradicate that.
Ooh. I've never thought of that before.
Yeah. Because yeah, your mic comes in like perfectly. Like your voice is coming in really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm using a top-notch mic though, so maybe it's like. Ooh, also though, the cord I have plugged into the mic has its own mic on it. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Oh,
Not sure.
hello.
Might be due to noise gating. Well, let's give it another shot. And if we can't get it to work, could always pre-record something and then we could play that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could always do that.
Absolutely. I'm sure. Did y'all catch whose theme that was though?
Honestly, for some reason, I'm not able to really hear any of it back. I can see the sound waves, but I guess I had the same problem
Piano's
as everybody
broken.
else. It was just cutting in and out.
What's going on with my piano?
He can turn off
Okay, there it
noise
is.
suppression on Discord. Do you know how to do that?
Let's see. I could probably do that mid-call, can't I?
I think so. Trying to see where it is in like advanced, but there's noise suppression. Suppress background noise from your mic. Yeah. If you go into settings, voice and video at the bottom, you can select none, and that'll probably let everything come through.
Okay, hold on. So where is settings? How do I find that?
It's the gear on the
That's
bottom left.
gear on the bottom left. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Somebody says they think it sounded like Shion's theme.
It was actually Ventus's theme, but almost the same motif. Let's see. Advanced. No, that's not it.
It'll be voice and video, and then if you just scroll to the bottom, it should be there.
Why do I not have a settings button in the bottom left?
Are you on the phone or are you on your computer?
I'm on my phone. Devices. No. Voice. App settings. There we go.
There you go.
Voice activity.
Then we'll get it rolling.
And then let's see. Noise suppression. None.
Yeah,
correct?
put it on done, and then let's give this another shot.
All right. Let's see if this just sounds a lot better. All right. I'm just going to go right into the second one. Fuck it. That's the one I practice the most.
Go for it. Much better. There it is. Still comes in a little choppy, but it's nice. Still chopping in and out. Again, it sounds so much better though. That was good. Ayo, that came through way more crisp. That was nice.
What'd you think of that? That was good, yeah?
That was good. That was good. If you would, I think if you turn your mic volume down a little bit more, we might be able. I would say like 80 to 90% of the notes came through that time. So maybe if we turn the mic, it was much
a lot better.
Not
Here, let me
bad for
see.
having
Let me
no
do that
sound
real
check.
quick.
So maybe just lower it a little bit more, and we might be able to get everything. Definitely lowered it on your end. I can always make you louder on my end, so that you don't have to risk clipping your mic. So yeah, if you want to lower yourself, and,
Yeah, I'm lowering the piano volume now.
Yeah. Like I said, I can always boost you on my end so that you don't have to risk clipping the mic.
Gotcha. All right, well, here, let's go with another classic, yeah?
Go with another classic.
Is that better?
Much better. Oh, did we lose it? I think we lost you, dude.
Oh, no. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Maybe turn it down a little bit more, because it's clipping a little more than the last tune.
Weird. That's so weird. Maybe it's too quiet now, because I can barely hear the piano.
Oh, it comes in super crisp on our end.
Okay, all right, let's try it again. I'm trying to make it work. I need a microphone.
It's all good. His playing is very smooth. I think it might be our connection that's chiming him in and out. But the playing itself is very smooth. There we go. There it is. There we go. Silver Dash, that's a good point. I bet if he was humming, Discord would register all of it.
See, I've always wanted to pull that one off because I have to like cross my two hands over each other to do that part. And I just did it successfully.
That little ending lick right there. That was good,
Yeah.
dude. That was good. You play very smoothly. We just got to get like a way to get you on here smoothly to do that kind of stuff.
I know. I probably figure it out.
Saying he's playing for us from Quadratum.
Voice
can't reach us here.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah, maybe next time we'll try to find a different app to connect through. This way it can come through a little clearer. Because I think Discord was filtering a lot of stuff in and out.
Right, but I mean, did that one at least sound the better out of all three?
Yeah, that last one, especially the second half. The second half, for some reason, came in a lot clearer than the first.
Okay, it's because I turned my volume down even more.
Yeah,
So
that'll
that
do.
probably.
That might have done it. But yeah, dude, it was very nice. I appreciate you gracing us with some tunes. You know, even though they came in a little choppy. It's all good.
Right. Hey, you know what? Just one more thing. You got any? You better ask your audience right now. Any Bleach fans?
Any Bleach fans?
Any Bleach fans?
I know nothing of
Any
Bleach.
Bleach fans? No, you know nothing of Bleach.
I know
Oh,
nothing of Bleach, dude. I gotta be real.
that's crazy, dude. You need to jump into that.
I think I do.
All right,
Charlotte's been
man.
trying to get me into it.
Oh, dude, Charlotte's queen. She knows what's up.
She does. She does.
All right, man. Well, it was good.
It's been real, dude. Let's link up again soon.
Sounds good. Hey, by the way, Florida next May is when I'm going.
All right, yo, let's talk. We'll talk.
All right, bet.
All right, my man. I'll talk to you
Later,
later.
Landy.
Peace.
Have a good day.
Okay. So, Shadow Flare, would you like to get in here? Would you like to get in here and run it? I've got some more written theories, but I think now's taking a little break from the written ones. If you want to get here and talk up this FF theory, or actually, I think when it comes to written theories, I actually think I only have one more. Let me double check. Yeah, let me get this last written one out, and then we'll get you in. You got like 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes? Maybe even less. But I got this one last written theory here I want to cover. And honestly, let me see. Anybody hit me with theories on Twitter? No. Okay, cool. So we got this written one, and then we got Shadow Flare, and then I think we'll be all caught up. We'll see. Where are we at? We're at an hour 17? Okay, we still got some time. David Free says, yo, Bleach is great. Reading it now, though you should definitely read One Piece first. I'm on the edge of One Piece, man. Now that I finished Naruto, I'm on the edge of One Piece. Here, let's switch this up. There we go. Get a little more light in here. All right. Yes, I should have that time. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next theory. Okay, cool. This comes to us from Blaze, BDG. Might see them in the chat every once in a while. Hope you're doing well, BDG. Let's run this. Yo, Landy. I was watching episode number 171, the one about connecting Kairi and Ava, and I realized something when I saw the scenes you mashed together of the grandmother's story. In the story scene, Kairi's grandmother says, long ago, people lived in peace, bathed in the warmth of light. Everyone loved the light. Then people began to fight over it. They wanted to keep it for themselves, and darkness was born in their hearts. The darkness spread, swallowing the light and many people's hearts. It covered everything, and the world disappeared. Xehanort says the world began in darkness, and from that darkness came light. From the light came the people, and the people had hearts. Evil burgeoned in those hearts, begetting more darkness, and the darkness spread across the world like a plague. The light, the symbol of the world's hope, was devoured by shadow, leaving nothing but ruin and utter failure. When you look at the stories and they both discuss how the world began, it's actually quite different. Now, I could be stretching this a lot, but it just came to my head and I thought it could be possible. Xehanort tells Sora, Donald, and Goofy that the world began in darkness, but Kairi's grandmother explains to Kairi that the world began in light, and darkness was born because people wanted that light for themselves. Something that literally just came to my mind as I was writing this was that people wanted it for themselves. That would mean that the people began to be greedy. Would that make Ava the eldest sin if Kairi's grandmother's story is true? On the other hand, if Xehanort's story is real and the creature of darkness Maleficent spoke to was truly darkness itself, then wouldn't that mean that darkness was born first? And if the Master of Masters is actually light, then he was born from the darkness. Also, I think that would mean that the 7 deadly sins were born, then came the virtues. So the foretellers that we see in in back cover could have been both the virtues and the sins. I do believe that. Well, that's all I got for right now. I hope you see this, and I hope this sparks interest in you and maybe even the whole Kingdom Hearts community. I also believe that Ava recruited the dandelions, and the light they are keeping alive is Sora. If Strelitzia is theoretically the main dandelion, I believe that could be the reason she was the first introduced. Then they talk about Luxord's name. Lux, light, Ord, order. What could that mean? And they bring up that Era, as we know, is, Latin for the sin of pride, not pride, wrath, is a male and also pointed this out, is a male and female given name. As a Sanskrit male name, its meaning is that of the wind god Vayu. As a Sanskrit female name, its meaning is the earth. So they liken this as in maybe Era is connected to Terra or Riku, them being connected with the land and the earth. You get it. Anyway, going into their theory here, I do like some of it. I think they lose me around here. Like them pointing out the difference between Kyrie and Kyrie's grandmother and Xehanort's telling of the origin of the universe, that's worth pointing out. I think there's something to that. Perhaps one is the origin of reality and one is the origin of unreality. That said, let me see what else they got here. As for the people being greedy and greed being the original sin, pride is always the original sin. And I wish Andy was here. He could probably talk to us about that a little bit. But it's kind of the idea that all the other sins stem from pride. Like the only reason one would be greedy is because that greed is sourced in pride, is kind of the idea. Okay. So that would be my thoughts on their what do you say? The little Ava theory there. So black box contains the world's hope equals the light of the children. That's very possible. That's very possible. I have my own feelings on what's in the box. I think I cracked the code. But I can't speak of it right now. Can't speak of it right now. Hillary Slack says, what if both stories are true, only they are different beginnings? Kyrie's grandma might be talking about the time when Master of Masters was a child, and Xehanort is talking about what happened after missing Link, or perhaps even Union Cross. That's a very good point, Hillary. I think you nailed it a little bit right there. If I'm being honest. Ventus and Naminé are going to be two of the most important players going forward, hands down. Now, there's a little something we could talk about. I happen to think you're right. Maxall. Ventus for sure. And we all know why Ventus. But for Naminé is going to be integral to restoring memories. Particularly Ventus's memories. Xehanort's story starts at pre-Union Cross, and Grandma starts during Union Cross. That's Silver Dash. I think that's a little bit of what Hillary's getting at. I totally vibe with that. I think that's 100% true. The Master did say that when he was a kid, the war was still going on. Exactly. That's a great point. Wow. Holy hell. Shadow Flare, if you are ready, sir. I'm down to dive in. Nomura said he didn't plan for Roxas and Shion's return, which implies he intentionally wanted Naminé to return. That's another great point, Jay So Silly. Just because he wasn't planning for Shion and Roxas to come back means that he had a plan for Naminé. That's a good observation. Sure, I am here. Okay, let me message you over on Discord. Do you want to come in via video or audio? Up to you. Again, I leave that to you, my friend. How young do you think Ventus is in Union Cross? Probably like 12 would be my guess. Either is fine. All right. We haven't had anybody video in yet, so why don't we video you, bud? Let's get you in here. Let me turn this off so we can get you all set up before the people can hear you. My camera isn't going to work because it's connected via OBS, so don't mind me. There he is. What's going on, man? How are you? Ooh. I can hear myself through your speakers. Okay. Yeah, everything sounds good, and I can't hear you back. Okay, let me get you... Give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second. Let's do this. No, you're good. You're good right now. I don't have you radioed in just yet. I want to get everything set up, and then I'll radio you in. You got it, man. Just hang with me for 1 second here. Let's give you a little box over here. Let's pull you up on full. All right. Oops, wrong one. There you go. Let's condense this down. All right, I appreciate you doing this, by the way. This will be fun. All right, 1 sec. I'm about to take you. All right, you are good to go, my friend. So hit us with your theory. Give us a little synopsis, and then feel free to dive straight in.
Since you were needing more Final Fantasy theories, one of my old ones, I've been trying to map the Final Fantasy multiverse for a long time. And one of the locations that shows up in multiple games and is known to shift dimensions is Valhalla.
Now, what's the most recent Final Fantasy Valhalla appeared in?
The most recent it showed up in?
Yeah.
Stranger of Paradise,
Okay.
but by a different name.
And what was its name in Stranger of Paradise?
The Temple of Chaos.
Gotcha. Oh! Okay, keep going. I'm all ears.
Yes. So, in Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns, they had confirmed that the Temple of Etro became the Temple of Chaos. And back in the little farmland area near the Temple of Chaos, there was a side quest line where you were trying to get some sheep that eggs, the ones that could actually breed despite all of the chaos wrecking the afterlife. And the person who was looking for those sheep was Cornelia. Like, they only reveal her name after you finish the whole quest line, but we actually find the founder of Cornelia in a farmland not too far from the Temple of Etro, which gets rechristened the Temple of Chaos after you beat Caius. Now, the thing that got me even looking for where Valhalla traveled across games wasn't 13. It was Final Fantasy 9.
Interesting.
In Final Fantasy
a game coming
9,
into the fold a lot lately, so definitely all ears there.
In Final Fantasy 9, we had a version of Garland who was in a genome mannequin-esque body, like a prototype of the genomes. And he mentioned that he had taken a few locations from Terra into Gaia after he failed to merge the worlds.
Can I pause you real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Question from the audience. Hillary Slack is asking, which Final Fantasy games does Valhalla show up in? Numbered titles. Obviously, there's FF13, but go ahead.
Final Fantasy 1, 3, 5, 6, 9, 13-2, arguably 13-1, but only briefly at the end of the game.
It's more
Lightning
implied
Return,
in 13, in base 13. Yeah.
Dissidia, and Stranger of Paradise. In Final Fantasy 3, it's also only implied, but other locations from Lightning Returns are in Final Fantasy 3, so I'm counting it as it exists, or at least existed in that world, but isn't seen.
And what's interesting is you brought up that this is both featured in Valhalla is both featured in Stranger of Paradise and Dissidia, which is interesting because those are two games that are kind of designed to cross over with other Final Fantasy universes. So it seems like when mapping the FF universe, like you're attempting to do here, that Valhalla is actually going to be integral to being able to do that, seeing as in the spin-off games where they intended to cross over the universes, Valhalla was present.
Correct.
Okay, just making sure I'm following you.
Actually, thanks to one of the later DLCs in Stranger of Paradise, we got a soft confirmation that Jack Garland is a younger aged Garland from Dissidia.
Yeah, I think you brought this up on the last audience theory. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So, just presuming that I'm relatively correct in saying these games are corrected and it's not just Easter eggs, because I know a lot of people believe they're only Easter eggs. In Final Fantasy IX, we have a surviving Garland, probably mannequin actually, or at least a proto-genome Garland with memories that very much resemble Dissidia. And people in Final Fantasy IX call Memoria Valhalla, specifically Freya.
Also shades of
Now-
FF9 there, but go on.
Now, that alone wouldn't be enough to draw a connection between Memoria and Memoria and Valhalla. However, in Lightning Returns, at the end of the game, Benezave, the god that created both Terra and Gaia, because Grand Pulse Terra Incognito, and that he names the new world he is going to make Gaia, falls into the same void that Valhalla was dragged out of at the end of 13.2. So, we have a crystal of origin falling into the location that later becomes Memoria in Final Fantasy IX, where in Final Fantasy IX, they just call it the crystal of origin that created both Terra and Gaia.
So in kind of the way, I just want to let's maybe relate it to something in Kingdom Hearts. The way the astral plane is able to connect reality and unreality. Are you saying that the void that Valhalla fell into kind of serves a similar purpose in connecting Valhalla to Memoria? Like, not that it necessarily exists to connect them, but it's a place from which they both have been sent or taken?
So, I'm going to take it one step forward there in the connection, because you are on the right track, but not quite.
Okay.
That Unreality seems to be those that survived falling into a void. Like, they've called it the Abyss of Sleep. The Xemnas in Kingdom Hearts 2 mentioned the power of the void, nothingness. And while Kingdom Hearts hasn't fully expanded on this yet, in Final Fantasy, there are unseen realms that circle the void. That they're not quite fully devoured, but Final Fantasy IX's Memoria is a very good example of the memories of the Crystal of Origin, which strongly implied to be Benezave thanks to Lightning Returns naming the world he'd create as Gaia.
I just want to say Kevin Ribeiro in the chat is completely on your wavelength right now.
Yeah. And Benezave, he created Grand Pulse Terra Incognito, so even if they normally shortened it to Pulse back in 13, Terra is still part of the world's name.
Right.
So in Final Fantasy IX, where they named the world, the two of the recurring worlds in Final Fantasy, Gaia and Terra, we actually see all the memories of Benezave bleeding out of the crystal world as he's falling into a black hole-like thing. Which, when Kuja shatters him, an emissary of the void, Necron, or Necros, I forget which it was,
I believe it's Necron,
comes to return everything to nothingness. That basically coming to reap the soul that just got its last clinging to life thing shattered.
Mm-hmm.
That Benezeve's death called forth the Reaper in a very lich-like manner, but it's more... Memoria is the same type of place as Unreality. It is the fragments of existence as they are struggling to survive the void.
That's intense.
Yeah.
That's intense.
So that's technically a tangent here, but it's more but also the evidence that links 9 to 13's trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
So the Valhalla in 9, if it is in fact the Memoria created by Benezeve's memories, but before Benezeve's memories was sustaining that location, Etro was sustaining Valhalla there.
Mm.
But her Valhalla was a much smaller location, as we saw in 13.2. But 13.2's map, it is actually taken from 2 games. Final Fantasy V and 6 had the Halls of Castle Ball, translated from the same BV letter that is used for Valhalla in the original Norse. So the Valhalla is... I cannot pronounce the hard B sound correctly. Sometimes it's transliterated into a B, sometimes into a V. So Final Fantasy V is the youngest form of Valhalla we've seen.
So it's the first time it appears as 5. Okay.
Yep. So in Final Fantasy V, its halls are where you get Odin. It's pretty wrecked because it's already been split dimensionally across 2 worlds. The Cleft of Dimensions being used to seal the void. And when you reconnect the Castle Valhalla, or the Castle Val, with the basement halls, you can then finally access Valhalla, the Halls of Val, and get Odin. In Final Fantasy VI, the map is similar to 5's, but different enough that until 13.2 came out, I couldn't be certain if they were the same location.
Can I interrupt you real quick? I have a couple questions from the audience I think would be useful.
Oh,
Hillary
sorry.
Slack asks, do these versions of visual cues that hint that they are the same place, and do other realms of the world tree also have returning places?
So, since you mentioned the world tree, Final Fantasy has at least 3 named great trees. Well, 1 unnamed that could be one of the other 2, but the Aoife tree in Final Fantasy IX, which belongs to Gaia, but was altered by Garland with the Soul Divider. Terra had a world tree that was unnamed in 9, but has been shown to be Yggdrasil in Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy III, and I think there's one other game where Yggdrasil showed up, but I'm forgetting which one it was. It was a side game. Final Fantasy V had an unnamed Elder Tree, but it is probably not the same one.
Gotcha. I have a bit of a question here. Well, before you continue, obviously this is very heavily reliant on a lot of stuff that Fabula Nova Crystallis gave us, right? Because a lot of the linchpins of this theory bring us to the FF13 trilogy, right? And there are things within the FF13 trilogy, like you're bringing up, that can connect to 9, 6, 5, etc. Do you believe the Fabula Nova Crystallis, which we have seen now bleed into Kingdom Hearts, was created to find a way to connect all of Square Enix's universes, at the very least, perhaps, the Final Fantasy verses in Kingdom Hearts? Just very briefly, what do you think of that before you continue to flesh this out?
I think the idea that fragments of worlds that couldn't become real, or world lines that were erased, would fall into Unreality, So, at the end of Lightning Returns, if you get the true ending, Lightning ends up in a fictionalized version of the real world France. Like Chateau Blanc, she takes the train to there to meet with Sarah. In other words, she traveled to a Final Fantasy equivalent to Shibuya Quadratum.
I see.
So the idea that Yozora, in falling into Unreality, is any less connected to Fabula Nova Crystallis just feels wrong to me, because Fabula Nova Crystallis already included an Unreality-esque location.
So this is the
In
kind of
other
thing we've
worlds,
seen before.
That is our Earth.
Interesting. And you know, that's the thing about Lightning Returns. I just want to
there
say,
while alive. Lightning did not die to go there. She actually used the remaining god powers she had from Benezve to reach there.
and shit, what was I about to say?
Oh,
It's
sorry.
interesting. That's what I was going to say. As far as Lightning Returns goes, that might be one of the most influential games on Square Enix ever made. A lot of the stuff we're seeing now, both gameplay and story-wise, seem to borrow from Lightning Returns. Like, I do recall a lot of the devs who made the combat in Lightning Returns are working on Rebirth, and as we know, with Fabula Nova Crystallis being at the forefront of that FF13 trilogy, the guys writing Rebirth and Remake are the same guys who came up with the Fabula Nova Crystallis. Your Nojimas, Katases, Nomura's, Hamaguchi. Again, I'm done there. Go on.
They even put the youngest version of Gilgamesh in Fabula Nova Crystallis' Type 0.
Yep. Whoa, dude, I've been playing Type 0. There's some good stuff in there.
I
I'll let
haven't
you go.
reached
But yeah.
where you meet him yet in my playthrough of that either, but Gilgamesh, before he went Seath, is in there. I do not know if you see him become Seath the first time where he gains that second pair of arms, but Gilgamesh's, before he got recruited by Exdeath, youngest form is a Lassie in one of the nations in Type 0.
Dude,
So
keep going.
all
keep
of
going.
the multiversal shenanigans in Final Fantasy come back to Fabula Nova Crystallis as the beginning of the story of the crystal. They say it's the new story of the crystal if you go by the direct Latin, but if you reinterpret it to say the story of the crystal when they were new, it makes much more sense if FNC was the prequel to all of Final Fantasy.
And I think that's what they're trying to do. Because I think Final Fantasy is free to take certain liberties, but there's always been a through line base foundation that all these Final Fantasies share, right? The Moogles, the Chocobos, the crystals, the name of the spells. I can keep going. There are, even though all the stories are the same, even though all the stories are different and characters are different, again, there's this through line structure of a Final Fantasy universe that doesn't change no matter what. Whether you're playing Theater Rhythm, which is a rhythm-based game, or FF14, which is an MMO, like, no matter what, that same baseline is still there. And interestingly enough, a lot of that baseline exists in Kingdom Hearts as well, whether you look at the name of spells, whether you look at the use of Moogles. You know, it makes you wonder if Tomberries and Chocobos are next, but there always has been some sort of connection between all these Final Fantasies. But I like what you're doing, and I think audience theory is a good way to keep checking in with you to see how far along you're getting with mapping all these worlds together.
Yeah.
Because I know last time you talked a lot about FF12, which isn't quite in the discussion here, but I'm seeing newer Final Fantasies coming to your theory that weren't there the first time. So,
well, I
keep
definitely
going.
didn't have the time to get to all of the things I had confirmed. That the last time I was just confirming the basis to connect them. That back to Final Fantasy 6 and 13-2's connection, though. Lightning herself was in Final Fantasy VI.
Where?
In the ancient castle that is one of the two maps, the other being Final Fantasy V's basements and halls of Castle Ball, the halls of Val. The other of the two locations that the Shadow of Valhalla / Valhalla location we don't actually get to explore during the game was taken from map information from Final Fantasy VI's Ancient Castle.
Hold on, I gotta hold you up. I need some sort of proof that lightning is in FF6. I've not gotten past that.
So I'm getting.
Can you confirm that for me? I know you're getting there, but honestly, is there? Go ahead. Floor's yours.
So it's not exactly lightning as we saw in 13 because made way before, and they've definitely changed their idea of her. But in that ancient castle, which is stated to be a location from the War of Magi, we see a flashback where Odin and a princess are fighting a caped being who defeats Odin and petrifies him in a crystal slumber. And when you explore the castle, it shows you more flashbacks, and you find the princess also in a statue form. Statues in Final Fantasy VI are used as the term for crystal stasis because the warring triad gods also put themselves in a statue stasis form.
Mm-hmm.
So when you bring Odin to the basement where you find the princess, he transforms into Raiden, a lightning variant, elemental variant of Odin. And you gain, and this is the only summon that can teach you the spell Quickening, which is a super haste that gives you basically an extra turn on the very next frame after you cast it. Whoever you cast it on gets it. But in Lightning Returns, she has the same spell, just named Overclock.
Interesting.
That mechanically, they are the same type of acceleration, where the normal gameplay's frame rate becomes your speed.
Interesting.
The frame rate of your active time battle system suddenly becomes your speed in Lightning Returns when you use Overclock. Same in Final Fantasy VI with the Quickening spell. So you gain Lightning's most powerful magic, and after transforming Odin into a Lightning Elemental variant of Odin, with a similar backstory of one of the Warriors of Magi fighting in the War of one of the Magi Knights fighting in the last bits of the War of Magi, losing and becoming frozen in crystal, frozen in time, shunted into the unseen realm, and then Kefka drags it out of there with basically weapons from the War of Magi inside that castle still. And if we reinterpret this under the terms used in Final Fantasy XIII, instead of Espers and Magi Knights, you had Lassie and Fal'Cie. All four of these terms were bound to focuses until the gods, either the Warring Triad or Etro, Pulse, and Lindsay, freed them from their commands and allowed them to be free.
Mm-hmm.
That Lightning became the Lassie of Etro sometime after being freed from her first Lassie-ness as the Knight of Etro instead of Magi Knight, Goddess Knight. So the terms line up in their meaning in their games, but they're not the same terms because they've reimagined things in between.
Mm-hmm.
And Caius beating lightning happens in so many of the timelines if you ever played the Lightning DLC, that Lightning is in a loop of losing and losing, and occasionally winning and then losing again.
Wait,
Like,
remind me real quick. Who is Lightning battling at the beginning of 13-2?
Caius.
Caius, okay. Go on.
The Caius, the person who is definitely in Valhalla during Lightning Returns, and fighting her in 13-2 in what they call Valhalla. So, if Final Fantasy VI is in a different world line than the very healthy academia in the X time world line in 13-2, because 13-2 has two world lines. One being the one titled X, and then the untitled just 400 AF, where everything is doom gloom and basically controlled by one of the man-made Falsi, and then self-destructs after Lightning Sarah shows up. So, we know there's at least two world lines in 13-2 that, when they get too close, paradoxes form. So, presuming Final Fantasy VI is in a third world line that's slightly different, but mostly the same, Vector and Academia are actually really frickin' similar. If you ignore that Academia is supposed to be the good guys, Vector is an empire of scholars that had done research into espers and magic, just like Academia, harvesting the power of espers, creating your own Falsi same to same, that literally, thematically, the only difference is Academia didn't lose its way. So, they may or may not be variants of the same location, considering the Veldict in Final Fantasy VI and the place where you do your hunting, I forget its name in 13-2, the place that Caius and what's his face, other main character of 13-2. Sorry, I'm bad at names.
No, dude, dude, with everything you're able to memorize, do not apologize when you have a memory lapse, okay? Be easy.
The Shadow Hunter main character of 13-2, he and Caius come from a location that map-wise resembles the Veldict and is described in the same way as being a place where monsters around the world gather.
Was it Noel?
So,
was it Noel? Is that who you were trying to think of?
Noel.
Yeah. Just a Waffles got you in the chat.
Yep. Noel and Caius, if they did come from the Veldict in a slightly different world line from Final Fantasy VI, or possibly Caius actually came from the same world line of 6, the location that the floating continent was floating over is the ocean next to the Veld. So the place where the Warring Triad would have fallen down and after being murdered by your party would actually be pretty close to where the Guardians took the Heart of Etro, the Heart of Chaos as they sometimes called it, her Magicite core, and basically shoved it into their own bodies.
That is intense.
So, yeah, that if Final Fantasy VI were the doomed timeline that we only see a dream of in Final Fantasy 13-2, killing the Warring Triad completely did start just all of the life on the planet dying slowly. Sure, the hardier plants could survive and the monsters were thriving, but regular animals were just dropping dead. Just dropping dead. So if 6 led to the first unseen looping of the 13 trilogy, where you have Caius shove Etro's heart from the prior Guardian to him in a 100-ish years of apocalypse. Then he starts the whole time loops thing, gets the first 400 AF, just the no X's in the world line name that we see. Sarah get really puzzled when lightning disappears and she notices the world line shifting the first time.
Mm-hmm.
That is going from doomed world line Final Fantasy VI to Final Fantasy XIII's world line. And then Sarah and Noel create world line X, which eventually becomes Lightning Returns.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. You know, I've only ever watched cutscenes for Lightning Returns, but I've been, there have been several things pulling me back towards that game, and this conversation is certainly one of them. I was just going to say, we're pulling up on 2 hours here.
Yeah.
Is there a way we can cap it in 5-10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Aside from just giving evidence that lightning could have existed in Final Fantasy VI, I was almost done anyhow. Other characters from Fabula Nova Chrysalis in Final Fantasy VI actually include 2 Magicite shards for Ragnarok. Not 1, 2.
2.
Because in the game, when you get 1 Magicite shard for Ragnarok, you take it to a... Oh, I was doing fingers and I forgot. Oh.
You had some balloons pop up. It was your birthday or something?
I just saw them. I do not know where those came from.
Okay. Trip me out for a minute there, but get back into it.
So, in Final Fantasy VI, there are 2 copies of Ragnarok. That one you find in Magicite form, and you have you take it to a blacksmith, or rather, he's the one who found it, and he offers to either reforge it into a sword, unparalleled, or to keep it as Magicite. The second Ragnarok you can steal from Kefka. So there are 2 Ragnaroks in Final Fantasy VI. Aang and Vanille are very quietly, secretly in there. And then the Crusader, her summon is actually 3 summons in one, representatives of each of the Warring Triad who had, during the start of the War of Magi, fought and died for their gods. And you can, after defeating 8 dragons, you can unseal them and basically summon a trio of Lissi from the beginning of the war. So there are a couple of subtle things that could be allusions to Final Fantasy XIII's trilogy, which you can then kind of confirm dates, because 1,000 years before Final Fantasy VI, but 13, it's like 600 years before 13 that the War of Transgression began. In academia, they say that the actress Tara Branford had a steamy date with Macaroni, which is one of the sneaky nicknames for King Figaro, aka Edgar from Final Fantasy VI. And we know Tara didn't actually play in the opera in Final Fantasy VI, so we know not the same timeline, but that they mentioned Figaro, the Playboy King, on a sneaky date with Tara. That just sounds like subtle confirmation between that and the Frozen Esper from the start of Final Fantasy VI being in the found in Grand Pulse, encased in ice, from the War of Transgression. Saying Valgrimmond is from the War of Transgression is also a subtle nod that 400 AF minus 1,000 is the start of War of Transgression, is the War of Magi. So
and thus it would all connect. That is insane. That is
Different
insane,
world.
dude.
yeah, 13.2 was enough for me to confirm that yes, the ancient castle and Valhalla were different parts of the same building. Which then shows that what happened is Final Fantasy V, Valhalla gets cast into the void. It ends up in the Cleft of Dimensions, which very much resembles Memoria.
Mm-hmm.
Kefka drags it out of Valhalla and leaves the shadow of Valhalla behind for 13.2 to drag out into what becomes the remains of the world as it condenses in the void, tearing away at Grand Pulsteric Incognito, only leaving 4 regions of the world behind, which vaguely resemble Final Fantasy I's map, actually. Like, the continents are the continents of Final Fantasy I, roughly. Things happen in between, sure, like dimensional incursions from the Lufinians, see Stranger of Paradise.
I was going to say, circa Stranger of Paradise.
That we see in Lightning Returns, the Temple of Etro gets renamed the Temple of Chaos, and the name Valhalla gets officiated a bit.
Mm-hmm.
The Cornelia gets founded in the same year. In Stranger of Paradise, the Lufinians say they don't know where the Temple of Chaos came from, that
Dude,
it just
you're
appeared
right.
there one day. Unlike all the other locations they intentionally dragged across dimensions.
But the Temple of Chaos, they have no frame of reference. That's insane, dude. That is insane.
Now,
go ahead.
Since Jack Garland is Dissidia Garland but younger, we can presume that Dissidia is after Garland had taken some of the control from the Lufinians, and the Lufinians warring with Shinryu in Dissidia, eventually they just disappear as a faction. Then, in Final Fantasy IX, Mannequin Proto-Genome Garland, don't know if it's the same Garland that is Jack Garland or just a mannequin of him.
Right.
Mentions that the attempt to initially merge Terra into Gaia by his past self failed, resulting in some locations from Terra being imposed upon Gaia. Of those, we know that Olivert, Estogaza, and the whole Mount Galug, and 3 or 4 other locations, in addition to the 4 crystal shrines that were the locations the fiends from Final Fantasy I were enshrined in. Yeah, the fiends from Final Fantasy I definitely are at least the originators of the mannequin versions that we see in Final Fantasy IX, because in Memoria, we do see mannequins of the 4 fiends. Like, the final dungeon has those 4 fiends just in crystal mannequin form, mass-produced.
Ooh.
Whether or not the name mannequin was mentioned in 9 because it didn't exist yet, we know that proto-genomes were a thing. So, Final Fantasy IX has mannequins of the 4 fiends, 4 completed mannequins that became real, like the summoned characters in Dissidia, and a mannequin of Garland, proto-genome according to Dissidia's. According to the Ultimanias, it was a prototype genome body. We don't know if it's the same Garland or just a mannequin with his memories, whether the heart is there.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a question of whether or not it was a vessel for him to inhabit. We do need to. I do got to move it along because we're over the 2-hour mark. Do you want to make like a closing statement, close it up?
And with that, we know that the Temple of Chaos has traveled all the way to Final Fantasy IX from 5 after being dragged into the void and out of the void a few times. And sure, Final Fantasy III mentions it, but it's never seen. And Final Fantasy III has Yggdrasil, the World Tree, in it, so it's probably either a Terran colony or part of Terra.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of very links to Final Fantasy X because Yune and Yunalesca might be the same person, but
that's
details.
Another conversation for another day. But dude, this is really cool, dude. I like what you're doing here. I definitely want to keep touching base with you, keeping tabs on it.
I can just put the locations game-wise in order that it went in the Discord just as a little graph thing afterwards. But yeah.
All right, dude, it's been great talking to you. We'll have you on for the next one. Yeah, dude, thanks for coming on.
Yep.
All right, everybody, that was our man Shadow Flare, who's got, you know, if you thought that was interesting, it's worth going back to the first audience theories and listening to him, because in the first episode, he strings together Gaia and Terra primarily. So definitely worth checking out. I got to run to the bathroom, refill these waters, and then we got a little bit left to talk about. So hang tight, take a little break, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
I still haven't learned a thing. The process of encoding hearts is incalculable. The inhabitants of my Twilight town were data created from real hearts. I was convinced that they would think and behave the way I had envisioned, but I couldn't have been more wrong. A heart is so much more than any system. I saw it when Roxas and Kyrie crossed paths. I knew, but I was too stubborn to accept it. It's always the same. I try to wrap my mind around things my heart already knows, only to fail. I had so many plans in store, but once Sora was an acting force, they fell apart. All my research amounted to nothing compared with that one boy's heart. Aviola, I deserve as much for failing to see you for the fool you are. Xehanort, foolish apprentice of a foolish man. My disregard brought chaos to more worlds than one. But what were you seeking? You have surpassed nothing. Only proved how little we both know. We may profess to know the heart, but its essence is beyond our reach. We're both ignorant, as oblivious as when we began. I'm afraid that any world you try to create, any world of yours, would be an empire of ignorance. I had so many plans in store, but once Sora was an acting force, they fell apart. All my research amounted to nothing compared with that one boy's heart.
Perhaps I wanted to atone for events of the past, even if no apology can undo the harm I have wrought. I felt that I ought to leave at least something behind. A clue, I hope, to finding yourselves or your lost friends in your hour of need. The heart has always been quick to grow. Each exposure to light, to the natural world, to other people, shapes this most malleable part inside of us. Sora was the only one able to return to his human form without destroying his nobody. That is a statement to the love in his heart for other people and the bonds that tie them together. Perhaps he has the power to bring back the hearts and existences of those connected to him, to recreate people we thought were lost to us forever. He has touched countless hearts, and he has saved them. And some of those hearts have never left him. whether they fell into darkness or were trapped there, whether they sleep in the darkness of Sora's heart or were welcomed into its warmth, they can be saved.
I had so many plans in store, but once Sora was an acting force, they fell apart. All my research amounted to nothing compared with that one boy's heart. So many plans in store, but once Sora was an acting force, they fell apart. All my research amounted to nothing compared with that one boy's heart.
Our most precious treasures, even an empty puppet, the trees of the forest, and the petals on the wind. There are hearts around us everywhere we look. And it does not take superhuman powers to see them. Surely we remember as children the way our hearts made everything seem so shiny and perfect. Sora has a heart like that, uncorrupted, willing to see the good before the bad. When he sees the heart in something, it then becomes real. When a connection seems broken, he may have the power to mend it.
And with that, we are back. Thanks for waiting, everybody. Thanks for chilling. Shadow Flare absolutely crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. We needed a Final Fantasy theory today, and that guy brought the mother of all Final Fantasy theories. I want to follow MA, but I don't know how. Well, she's here. She might be able to help you with that. But yeah, dude. I'm going to try to look up their name. If she's still here, she should be able to help you. But yes, okay, so I've got one theory left I want to discuss. That comes to us from a friend of the lodge, Ars Omnia, who blew my mind with this not too long ago. I'm going to show you some pictures, and I'm going to read a little bit of the conversation him and I had. So let's shrink this down, because we got something pretty interesting to observe here. Take note. Take note of this photograph, of this image. Interesting, isn't it? Now, excuse me. Let me make sure I have everything set. All right, get this out. We don't need this. Let me get this out. Okay. Now, allow me to read this from Ars Omnia. Ars, if you're out there, dude, you're the man. Thanks for sending this to me. Here we go. Good evening, Landi. I hope this day finds you well. I was recently rewatching your discussion with Treehouse concerning foreshadowing in Kingdom Hearts 3. A lovely discussion the two of you had. During the portion of the talk that covered Toy Box and aliens, I noticed something very, very curious. Take a look. The comparison between both sides does not match 100%, but the resemblance is uncanny. Quote unquote, the mystic portal awaits indeed. If you can't see it, this is what Ars is talking about. What you see on the left is from the Verum Rex trailer in Toy Box. What you see on the right is the UFO from Toy Box and what's underneath it. This is to the right is the underneath the UFOs from Toy Box, and to the left is from the Verum Rex trailer. Jay So Silly says, yo, what the fuck? That's what I'm saying, guys. Ars crushed it here. So again, to the left, Verum Rex trailer. To the right, Toy Box UFOs. We already know how those two worlds are connected already as is. It's like the symbol of your profile. I know, right? It's literally like the Landi Lodge logo in the funniest way. But anyway, let's keep going with his words. So I said, wow, there's something quite deliberate right there. It very well could be a coincidence. But again, the outright focus on UFOs in Toy Box is suspect, and images like this make it clearer. And ironically, the same trope is in my logo. This is going to have my head spinning for days. Ars Omnia responds, the triangle is a powerful shape. It's well suited as a symbol, or for a quality logo like yours. Oh, thank you, Ars. Or even apparently for whatever odd happenstance is occurring in those images. I believe in the power of coincidence just as much as I do the power of deliberate action. Coincidences happen every day, and yet even so, I now find myself very curious about how in-depth Nomura's notes were to visual works when that cutscene was being animated. Granular, frame-by-frame instruction, or perhaps a laxer approach in order to allow visual works some type of interpretational leeway. There we go. Either way, it's a curious bit of fun to consider, and I'm pleased that I've been able to give you something compelling to mull over in time. The only other image-to-image comparison that I've encountered revolving around Quadratum is Yozora and the presumed nameless star reaching out towards one another as though they are figures on the Station of Awakening, which is another interesting image thing to think about. Lady, I didn't know you were in Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, neither did I. Till this happened. Do we think that the true copy of Toy Box is in Unreality? I think there's a strong possibility. The only thing that might go against that is in the credits of Kingdom Hearts 3, it's implied Andy comes back. Yeah, I see. Matt Hayes, you get it. There it is. I'm in Quadratum, baby. I'm in Quadratum. Okay. Let's see. So then I talked to him in reference to the truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear. And he said if any other character aside from the Master had uttered that phrase, I'd find it far less suspicious. But as it stands, there are only 2 instances of his dialogue I find trustworthy. In spite of that, the rest of his quote does seem to reflect veracity on some level. As well as fortune teller, artist, scholar, between his master status, his penning of the Book of Prophecies, and his creation of the Charities, I'd argue he's been everything he's listed and more. Which, concerningly enough, might mean that I could tell you that I dream of world peace when I'm actually planning its destruction, are also both potentially true at the same time, right? He can be an enigmatic figure. I earnestly hope that that Union Cross is remade into, at minimum, a movie sometime within the next several years. I found the chibi art style rather endearing, but I do not envy the creators having to navigate complex character interaction and body language through that medium. So in spite of the Master's advice, I would very much like to hear quite a few scenes. The Master's meeting with Lucio, especially from the Union Cross finale, among them. But yeah, crazy stuff, man. Those little circles work too, right? In the pic. I know, it's insane, dude. It's insane. Speaking of insane, how long has this been going on for? We're at 2 hours and 20 minutes. Which means we're chilling. We're chilling. All right, we got one last message from ours here. But I replied, right? The fact that it came from the Master himself, the dude who wrote the Book of Prophecies, based on what his own eye saw, is kind of wild. I'm starting to wonder now that if that might actually be the hole in the Master's plan. His eye is able to witness everything, right? But wouldn't that also mean that he couldn't hear anything the gazing eye saw? If someone like Lucio was planning on betraying him, they could easily maneuver the situation in that way. As for Union Cross, it desperately needs some kind of remake. As someone who followed it and enjoyed it, it's just inaccessible/indigestible for the average fan, and can make revisits to it difficult as well. Even if they did a back cover art style movie summarizing the events, I think it would go a long way. R says that's a fascinating idea. I've never considered that the gazing eye might require an auditory component alongside a visual one. But I quite like the concept. What little we have heard quoted from the Book of Prophecies does not, if I'm remembering correctly, include even a single instance of transcribed dialogue. Consider also the question of what it might mean for the gazing eye to see. If Lucio does not have no name summoned, might that also inhibit the gazing eye's ability to function? We gotta have this guy on the podcast. He's too good. I mention it because Lucio does not summon no name when he sends the true dandelion through the arc, nor when he speaks with Brain, but he does summon it during his talk with Darkness in the Union Cross finale. Regarding the scene in which the Master reveals his plan to Lucio, I absolutely adore it. Not only was it exciting as well as both crafted and presented wonderfully, but it also might contain the only example to date of the Master losing his self-control. I shall continue to hope that Union Cross, at the least, is re-released in some way. Yeah, basically, that sums up what he says. But yeah, crazy stuff, guys. If they had to do a Kingdom Hearts TV show, I want it to be for the whole of these mobile titles. Key, Union Cross, Missing Link, and Dark Road. Yeah, that would be an incredible idea on Square Enix's part to help retread those games. We saw them do that for World Ends With You. They might do it for Kingdom Hearts. Excuse me. We're 7.5 hours into the 12-hour stream. Livid Sid says there's a sealed first edition of Wind Waker in the box. I just know it. That would be worth fighting for. There's no question that would be worth fighting for. Rose says, I think it's possible that what the Master sees is limited by where gated events can be changed. The events of the series and what he saw contradict the paradox. Instead of gated, you meant faded. Interesting thought. Yeah, he was only able to see the things that are sort of fluid in the grand scheme of things. That's an interesting idea. Whoa. Okay, we are at 2 hours and 21 minutes. Let me see if there's anybody left, any theories I missed. I want to make sure. Because I can keep going on and on about this kind of stuff. But let me see something. Okay, nope, I read this one. I read that one. I read that. I read that. I read that. And I read that. Okay, so I did cover all the ones that I prepared beforehand. That's good. That's good. We're going to have a clean slate at the end of today's episode. That is a good thing. Which will definitely be good for the next audience theories. Make some room. Okay, let's see what the chat's going on about. The true dandelion was in the box. Lushu opened it and put someone else in afterward. It's an interesting idea. That would be pretty cool, actually. If maybe, imagine Lushu swapped out the box. Let's see. They 100% need to do something to make Key and other mobile games more accessible. Key and Union Cross are going to be the problem. Dark Road a little bit too. But Dark Road is at least short and sweet. You know, I think Dark Road is very digestible just because it's very short, it's very sweet, and it's to the point. Union Cross and Key are incredibly long sagas and arguably the best written story in the series. Arguably. I wouldn't make that argument, but I understand people who argue that Kingdom Hearts Union Cross is the best story in the whole series. Like David is saying, they have to do something to make it just a little bit more accessible. Even if they made like a 1 hour back cover movie summarizing the main events, you know, I think you'll definitely get flashbacks. I think the Lost Masters arc is going to flash back to Union Cross a lot. But I think they have to do something to make it a little more digestible. If they made it a little anime the way they did the first World Ends With You so that people could catch up to because that's essentially what happened to the World Ends With You, is the second World Ends With You game was coming out, but the first game was pretty dated. Whether you were playing it on your phone or the Switch, it's pretty dated. If you play it on the DS, it feels better because you have the dual screens. But as a touch phone game, as like a touch screen game or a Switch game, the original World Ends With You is just so dated, it's hard for people to go back to it. However, Square Enix made a whole anime for the first World Ends With You game so that people could watch it going into the second game. I wouldn't be surprised if they do something similar for Union Cross. Rural Neptune is here. Yo, Lodge, been a while. Hope you're all drinking your water. My thoughts, Missing Link will hint at Sora's crown. 100%. Missing Link's going to be so huge. And that's the good news about Missing Link, because Missing Link has more modern graphics. Like, it's full 3D renders. So people who don't want to play Missing Link will have a much easier time watching the cutscenes. So that's why Missing Link isn't going to have the same problems Union Cross and Key had, because the Missing Link cutscenes are going to look like Kingdom Hearts 3. So it'll be very easy for people to go watch that, get caught up. But again, with Union Cross and Key, it's like, look, not everyone's going to want to read the text box and do the sprites. You know, me personally, I enjoyed it, but I also got to play the game. The game's unplayable right now. The only way to get through it is to look at cutscenes on YouTube. Check out Damo's channel. He does a full voice acted cut of it, which is good to watch. But they got to do something. They got to do something. Because again, like, even with Kingdom Hearts 3 is infinitely better and more impactful if you know what's going on in Union Cross. If you have the knowledge of Kingdom Hearts Key and Union Cross, Kingdom Hearts 3's story is 10 times more impactful. And I'm willing to bet Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be the same when it comes to Union Cross and Missing Link. So I'll leave it at that. I can't wait for Missing Link either. It's going to be so sick. It's going to be so sick. Because again, it looks good. You know? Like I'm saying, people will not have a problem referencing and looking back on these cutscenes. It's going to be so much more digestible. What do we think Kingdom Hearts 4 will look and play like? I think it's going to be the way Kingdom Hearts 2 amplified Kingdom Hearts 1's combat. I think Kingdom Hearts 4 will amplify Kingdom Hearts 3's combat. I think you're going to see a lot of similarities to how Kingdom Hearts 2 built off Kingdom Hearts 1, the way Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to build off Kingdom Hearts 3. I think you see a lot of similarities when it comes to that. The DS was way better. The DS World Ends With You is the definitive way to play that game, and always will be. Okay. Where are we at? It's almost 5:30, which means it's almost Mario Party time. All right, let's move to the solo shot. So, hey, look, that's gonna, for the most part, bring us to the end of this podcast episode, but it's nowhere near the end of today's stream. We still got Mario Party with myself, Andy Brew, Treehouse, and Cynic. And then after Mario Party, I'm going to play a little Octopath Traveler too. But I'm having a good time, guys. Today's stream is flying by. It does not feel like it's been 7.5 hours since I started. In fact, it's actually been more than that. It's been like 8 hours since I started. Is that an Orochimaru Funko behind you? It is. It's the whole legendary Sanin. Those all belong to my wife. The Funkos, and they're awesome. I'm particularly fond of the legendary Sanin. But yeah, no, this is great. Audience Theories is great, guys. It's so good to give you guys the floor. I yap enough as it is on this show, so it's good to get some other ideas from the audience. And you guys always provide such good insight during the podcast itself. You know? Daddy Maru says, "Live it, Sid." Daddy Maru. Oh, are the theories already over? Yeah, we're all out of audience theories. We got through them all. Do you think we get anything Kingdom Hearts related at the Game Awards? I don't think it's impossible, but I think it's improbable. I think it's more likely we get Missing Link and Rebirth, because I don't think they're going to want to drop anything Kingdom Hearts 4 just yet. Okay. I posted pictures of my Valhalla theory in the Discord for viewing. Let me check that real quick. Okay. And probably the Final Fantasy section, right? Oh, this is intense. That'll be worth combing over. All right. Yeah, so listen, guys, I just want to say thank you to everyone, whether you've been hanging out for a little bit or hanging out all day, and some of you have been hanging out all day. This has been awesome. I'm really having a great time. It's great to be celebrating 5 years of the Lodge. We've really come a long way. What's the Discord? Let me get it. Let me get a Discord invite. If you're not in the Discord, here's a link. Any theories about the 16 DLC? I think you get Leviathan, and I think we will see Clive. I don't want to spoil anything. But let's just say I think we'll see Clive's epilogue. I'll leave it at that. I think we get Leviathan, which will be a prologue with Sid, and then we'll get Clive's epilogue, which will be the epilogue of FF16. Bro, just gotta say Oswald for Kingdom Hearts 4 since they added him in the Speedstorm. I would love Oswald in Quadratum. I think that would be amazing. Oswald in Quadratum, I'm all for it. What would the story be for a Kingdom Hearts fighting game? It would be, here's what you do. The way the Kingdom Hearts limit cut is just Riku playing on Sid's computer, because Sid has the data of all the organization. You could make the Kingdom Hearts fighting game Sid collecting the data of all the fighters and having them fight each other so he can keep gathering more data and create this infinite feedback loop. It just has to be something silly like that. You know, the fact that every Kingdom Hearts story is canon doesn't have to restrict us to everything needing to be so big stakes. You could literally just make a simple game that's like Sid's computer that has data of all the fighters, and having them fight each other creates more data. Anyway, that's just a random idea. That's just a random idea. But all right, we've come up. It's 5:30. It's 5:30, which means audience theater, Mario Party is but a half hour away, give or take. So we are going to go on a quick break. Where the stream will be offline, but the stream will be right back up probably around 6:15. So be on the lookout for that. If you're on Twitch, all you got to do is hang on the Landi Lodge page. If you're on YouTube, I'm going to put up a preview page for part 2, but you should get your just check your notifications between 6 and 6:30, and you'll see that we're partying. So we got some Mario Party, as Livid Sid says. And we're going. When are we seeing Kobe? Do you want to see Kobe right now? Do we want a little Kobe outro? Do we want to gonna head out? Thanks again. Of course, Zane. Thanks for chilling. I never said it, but congrats on 5. Thank you. Thank you. Theories are officially out of stock. They are out of stock. Show us the boy. I'll go get him. Kobe. Kobe, you're being summoned. He's behind the couch. Kobe. You're being summoned. This way. Follow me. Here he comes. Kobe. Say hello to the folks. Let's turn that down. There he is. One sec. Let's tilt this even more. Okay. Then let's get Kobe a little bit more in the shot. There we go. Okay. Good boy. Okay, buddy. The people are watching. They want to watch you be a good boy. Can you give me your paw? Good boy. So nice to meet you. Here's your little treat. I got another one. But yeah, there's the good boy. Let's shrink this down so I'm in the shot. There's the good boy. We'll pull this up too. Oh, is that the full? That is the full. Okay. You're waiting for your next round, puppy. Can I have paw? Thank you, good boy. Can you go down? What a good boy. That's all I got for you, puppy. Okay. With that said, we are going to wrap up today's episode of the podcast, but the stream's not going anywhere. We'll be right back up with some Mario Party, with some sickos. It's going to be a good time. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thank you to everybody who shared their theories with the Lodge. Thank you so much. We'll be live again very soon, ripping some Mario Party. I think I've said everything a million times. I don't need to keep saying it. Anyway, if you're on Twitch, stick around for the raid. Let's go raid. We're going to raid the Cynic again. Because why not? And then, yeah, we'll be live again in about 30, 45 minutes. Be on the lookout. Thanks for hanging, everybody. Another episode of the Landi Lodge down. Kobe, you're a good boy. All right, everybody. We'll see you soon.